Well, we have a major update in the case of Gypsy Rose Blanchard. She was convicted of playing a key role in murdering her mother back in 2015. Now, Gypsy has been granted parole after serving 7 of her 10-year sentence, with her release date now set for late December. She did plead guilty in 2016 for her role in the killing of her mother, Clauddine Dee Dee Blanchard, after admitting she arranged for her boyfriend at the time, this man, Nichole Berlie, to kill her mother after she endured years of abuse. Now, Berlie was also found guilty. He was sentenced to life in prison without parole. So in all of the investigation, it was revealed Dee Dee had fabricated all of Gypsy's medical issues, convincing her friends and family that her daughter had leukemia, muscular dystrophy, asthma, brain damage, saying that it limited her mental capacity to that of a 7-year-old, all of which were lies. Gypsy said in court her mother forced her to use a wheelchair and undergo unnecessary medical tests to collect gifts and donations. Experts say Dee Dee had Munchausen syndrome by proxy. That's a mental disorder in which a caretaker fabricates illness in another person, all to garner attention. All right, here with us now to break down the case, let's bring in NewsNation legal contributor Jesse Weber. Jesse, thank you for your time here. This is a case that so many people followed. How unusual is an early release after a second-degree murder conviction, or is this in part due to all of the unusual circumstances here?
It's an unusual case. I remember covering it back in the day. And we have to remember she pled guilty to second-degree murder, not first-degree murder. And under Missouri law, she would have had the opportunity to be released early. You see, she is about to have served 85% of a 10-year sentence, which under Missouri law grants her the ability to be paroled, to leave prison early. So there's nothing abnormal about this. Now, having said it, one of the advantages that prosecutors took here was for her to plead guilty to second-degree murder, the lesser charge, not first degree, because she was one of the state's key witnesses in their prosecution of her co-conspirator, Nichole Berlie. He was found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. So many times we see these cases where deals are worked out with one person so that they can testify against another, particularly in this case where the argument was more blame was put on him than it was on Gypsy.
You know, and Jesse, what likely happens for Gypsy Rose now? I mean, she never really lived a normal life, and then she went to prison.
So let's be clear. What she did was horrifying. It was terrible. It was illegal. It was wrong. But there's a part of it where you have to feel terrible for what happened to her, right? Because she was a victim in this as well. Whenever I covered this case, I said, there's so many victims in this case. Life is not going to be easy for her. A, getting over the fact that she was a victim of her mother for so many years and being convinced that she was sick when she wasn't. B, being implicated in the murder of her mother. C, spending all this time in prison and now being released into the world where everybody is going to know what she did. And there's a stigma that comes along with that, even when people are released. So she's going to have a tough time. I would imagine she might do an interview, maybe tell her side of the story once again, because people haven't been talking about Gypsy Rose in a while, and maybe she wants to give her narrative once more.
Yeah, and this is certainly a case that, you know, when people see her, they hear a few of the details, it starts to come back. Jesse, what about the ex-boyfriend in this case, Nichole Berlie? You know, he was sentenced, as we said, to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Now here's Gypsy Rose, who will be out of prison in December. You know, is that justice? Because as you said, you know, at the heart of this, there is still a woman who lost her life.
It's a great question. Nichole Berlie has always said that he felt he was manipulated in all this by Gypsy. We know that he's an individual who's lived with autism. That became a central issue in his case. But we also remember that during the course of that trial, there were so many graphic parts of this murder, the planning, what happened during the course of the murder, things that were said, that were all put on Nichole Berlie. And so I think when you look at this, what is justice? Nothing's going to bring Dee Dee back. Nothing's going to fix the early part of Gypsy's life. But Nichole Berlie is the one who stabbed Dee Dee Blanchard to death. He is the one that took that knife and ultimately brutally killed her. And there's nothing that can excuse that. So it's not surprising that he was ultimately convicted of first-degree murder. And under the state law, he is going to spend the rest of his life in prison unless he can mount a successful appeal, which may not be likely.
You know, and Jesse, as we're talking and this video is playing and we're seeing these images, you know, there was a movie about this. There was a TV series about this case. Do you think there's more to this story that we will find out once Gypsy Rose is a free woman?
Absolutely. There are still so many unanswered questions about why she did this, what was her relationship like with her mother, because we don't usually hear this. We've heard of cases of Munchausen syndrome by proxy, but nothing like this. And I think there is still an immense interest in what happened in this case, understanding what her life was like and seeing how she can move forward. So I would say we know a lot, but I think we're going to learn a lot more when she's released in December.
On NewsNation legal contributor Jesse Weber, thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.